We appreciate our guest, Ms. Nirmala. She says she's traveling, she's in the bus. Sorry, I cannot speak. That's perfectly fine. You joined us. It's a very big thing.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I begin, ma'am? Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters, and my dear guests. I'm Toastmaster Swarnalata, and I'm going to be the SAA for today's meeting. So I welcome you all wholeheartedly to 212th meeting of SpeakMagic Toastmaster Club. Before we proceed further, let me give you certain ground rules. Please turn off your mobile phone or put them in a silent mode. I'll give you 30 seconds for that. As it is an online meeting, I request all of you to keep your videos on and audios off, and kindly switch on your videos, audios when you're asked to talk. And as a Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics in a derogatory manner. So kindly refrain from discussing on this topic. As every one of us have a mission in our life to achieve our goals, even Toastmasters have the mission. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive, positive learning environment in which every member is empowered to develop their communication and leadership skill to a greater height, to a greater self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I declare the meeting open, and I would like to call upon the presiding officer for today's meeting, who is none other than our own VP Education, Toastmaster Nitya, who is engineer by profession and someone who works extensively with data science in marketing background. Apart from that, she is also someone who never leaves a chance to learn things and grab as many as opportunity that comes to her. So without further ado, please welcome the presiding officer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Nitya.
Thank you for the introduction, Swarnalata. A very good evening to all of you. As already mentioned, I'll be the presiding officer for the day. And with the power vested in me, I declared the 212th meeting of SpeakMagic Toastmaster Club open. Now, before we proceed, I would like to go for some guest introductions and visiting Toastmaster introductions. So I would like to hear from Toastmaster Ilios. Please let us know what you're expecting for the day and what are your thoughts.
Oh, hello everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, TM Nitya. I got the link. And is it about general evaluation? What is it? I forgot the team. GEN timer. What is? Oh, an execution session of role in the meeting. So yes, that's great topic. And is it about GEN timer or what? I don't know what it is. What does it mean?
We're going to have sort of a mini educational session where we're going to talk about the GE and timer roles. We've had a lot of new members, so it's for educating them, and also for people like me who are neither old nor new, somewhere in the middle, who need to know the nuances a lot better. So,
the role that I'm going to discuss only GE and timer, right?
No, there's no rule, but we need to take certain topics to discuss in depth, right? It's only because of that we've taken 2 topics this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so to test it. That's why I come. What does it mean? GN timer. So that's all. Thank you.
One component of our meeting. We have a prepared speech marathon today.
Yeah. I got the others. I know, but I just curious what is GN timer by the does it mean that TTM Gayatri is taking the role or something else? So yeah, just introduction for me. I'm from District 87 and Indonesia, Surabaya. I think I have been here. I'm giving an speaker last time, and I have been keynote speaker, workshop speaker, educational speaker, panelist speaker about podcasting, comedy, and also soft skills. So it's good to see you all here in the first year. I think this is the first meeting that I have seen you all here in January. So yeah, it's up to you. The screen is yours, Lydia.
Wonderful. It's an honor having you, TM Ilios. Thank you. And going forward, I would like to hear from guest GK. Could you please introduce yourself and talk about your thoughts and what you expect from the meeting?
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So my entire profession, I'm completely into sales and business development for the past 15 years. And I work with Apollo Hospitals as a business unit leader, taking my operation from Chennai, covering the entire pan India. So my learning, this is my first meeting. I just want to know what's going to happen in this entire Toastmasters club or whatever it is. I have heard many things about Toastmasters, but I haven't had the experience of personally attending it because of various reasons. Now, being into this profile, I have some leisure time in, say, this Saturday and even Sundays. So I thought just I would like to experiment what it is personally. And today's meeting, I don't have any expectation since it is very new and all these things. I'm keeping my mind, brain, and hands open so that whatever it comes to me, it's going to be learning for me. Thank you.
That's a very interesting perspective to have, because once you keep your eyes and mind wide open, there's so much you can take in. So I just hope you end up learning a lot of new things during the session. Before we move forward, I would like to just announce one thing. We have the area contest coming up, for which we'll also have to get people ready from the club, and the minimum eligibility for the prepared speech is level 2. So I would urge as many people who are in their level 1 and level 2 to complete it as soon as possible, which is by the second week of February maximum. That is the only notification I want to talk about. That apart, I would like to know what the TMOD has in store today. It's a wonderful topic. So I would like to know much about it. Without much ado, I'll hand over the stage to DTM Gayatri Ravindran. The stage is all yours now.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nitya. That was a nice introduction. Thank you so much. Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all today to the 212th meeting of SpeakMagic Toastmasters Club. Today is an interesting day. What's so special about today? Well, that's the special thing about today, because today is a special day. For a number of people, today is Saturday, and DTM Ilios has already said today is weekend. Therefore, that is a special thing. And today is also the day when we all plan to go to the movie. So that's the second special thing. Number of special things. And as the Toastmasters the day, I took this topic because I want us to start thinking about every day being special because of something. The fact that we are here is special because we are breathing, that's special. Apart from that, it's a weekend, that's special. It's a Saturday, that's special. It's somebody's birthday, that's special. And when we talk about somebody's birthday, I'd like to talk about one of the brands that was created today. And that, folks, is special about today. Give me uno momento, and I will show you something at the back in the background, and let me see if you can recognize. And I'm looking forward to DTM Ilios to have a look at and tell us what it is.
It is bricks.
Logos.
Legos. Absolutely. Legos was born today. Happy Lego Day. The patent was applied today. So obviously it's the birthday, right? So that's the first thing that's special. Ultimately, in the course of the day, there will be many other special things that I have in store. But today, let me move on to a more pleasurable experience that I would like to provide to people. Today's special is an educational session. And there has been an interest evinced as to what it entails. It's about two roles, the general evaluator and the timer. Since we are in the educational session, let me start on this by introducing who I am, what I am, so that you know where the whole thought process is coming from. My name is DTM Gayatri. I joined the Toastmasters in 2016. So I've been about 6 or 7 odd years in the running, in my journey. I've completed my DTM journey in the traditional path. So I have still not rushed into the pathways projects. Now, when there was an opportunity given from the ExCom side to take a few educational sessions, I jumped at the opportunity because I feel unless the newcomers are aware of these two crucial roles in the club, it would be difficult for them to understand how to relate Toastmasters into real life. A lot of people think Toastmasters is one journey and my life is another. It's not that way. It's all the same. It's just your role play. Toastmasters provides you a platform to role play for what you are going to do outside. And one of them happens to be the timer, to keep track of time. If you start off a meeting in your offices, you need to make sure that it ends on time, much in the same way as a timer is going to do here in our Toastmasters meeting. As a general evaluator, what does a general evaluator do? Evaluates, gives feedback. Now, giving feedback is a part and parcel of our professional lives. We are supposed to give feedback on somebody's performance when we are doing their appraisals, whether the appraisal is in the middle of the year or it's towards the end of the day. It is an appraisal that needs to get done. So there has to be feedback given. At every given point of time, when there's a supervisory position, wherein you have to keep giving feedback to somebody who's reporting to you, it requires a bit of knowledge to know how to give feedback in such a way that the person takes it. Now, how is the person going to take it if you're going to be browbeating them? This is wrong, that's wrong, this needs to change, that needs to change. No, that is not the kind of feedback that should be given in real life. Now, why am I talking about real life here? It's because this is a place where we can practice. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me start off with the important role of general evaluator in a Toastmasters meeting. Before I continue, there are no presentations and I'm going to be speaking. Anybody who would like to know about this, please make notes, because I find that once we start presenting, people begin looking at the presentation, so the words get missed out. Then I'm not a great believer of the words getting missed out, because for me, words matter the most. And as a Toastmaster, every word makes a big difference. Now, let me start by asking, Toastmaster Swarnalata, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I, okay. Am I speaking too fast?
No.
Those are the two crucial things that we need to keep in mind when we speak on screen. Now, as a general evaluator, what is my role? To give feedback about the meeting. A general evaluator comes in before the meeting begins, checks every aspect of the meeting, and gives feedback as to where the strong points are and where the points are to be improved upon. Now, before I move on, let me remind our timer, please, at the end of the 10th minute, please give me a green. At the end of the 13th minute, please give me a yellow. And at the end of the 15th minute, please give me a red. And I would also like to request the Zoom master or the host to please pin the timer right next to me. As speakers, this is one practice we need to do to make sure we pin the timer, because this is one thing the GE looks for. So if you could do that, excellent. Now, while that's being done, let me continue. The general evaluator logs in along with the others a few minutes prior to the meeting beginning. If it is in real life, of course, comes in early, looks at the time the meeting has started, makes a note, and from there on begins to make notes. It's always good for the general evaluator to have the agenda in hand when they come in. And if they have joined online, it's always good for them to see it on their WhatsApp, because that's where we are talking. Now, I'm not going to be presenting over here right now at this moment. But if it is possible for us to present the agenda before, it's always good. Now the GE looks at the agenda, follows through. Did the Sergeant at Arms give the correct instructions according to whether it is Zoom or it is a hybrid or it's offline? Because all three have different elements. And today it was done. So that's one thing that we need to know. In real time, in a real life meeting, the Sergeant at Arms would say, please make sure that you know where your exit and your entrance is. There should be this one exit and there's this one entrance. In case of an emergency, we should not run pell-mell. And that's one thing we speak about, an entrance and an exit in the real life. But in Zoom time, please make sure to see your doorway, make sure to see your kitchenway in case you want to have something to drink, in case you would like to order somebody to get you some coffee or tea. And make sure that your dogs are placed in a place where they don't disturb. That's exactly not what's happening here in my home. I have two little puppies and they are right under my feet. Now, these are all the things that the Sergeant at Arms is expected to say. Not the dog's bit, excusez-moi, but the other thing. Why? Because we need to make sure that, just like Toastmaster Swarnalata said, the videos need to be on, and that gives the speaker a boost. Otherwise, how will I know whether Toastmaster Mohan, who is here, or Toastmaster Pankaj Kumar? I'm very happy to see both of you. If you are Toastmasters, welcome. If you're not Toastmasters, please join SpeakMagic. It's a wonderful place to be. Now, how will I know whether these two gentlemen are reacting to what I'm saying? I did see both of them smile. I saw Nitya smile as well. I saw Satya smile as well. I didn't see the others. Now, that's the most important thing. That when you have your videos on, you give the reaction of real time. That's one thing that the GE sees. Now, when the GE is looking through the agenda, did the Sergeant at Arms open the meeting correctly? Secondly, did the President or the presiding officer welcome everybody? And did the guests, were they made to feel welcome? That's the next thing. Then the Toastmaster of the day. Did that person introduce the theme correctly? What was the theme like? Did the meeting go accordingly? Did the Toastmaster of the day speak about the theme? And then when the speakers came, were they on schedule? Were their names taken correctly? Were the timings given? Now, before that, usually the general evaluator is introduced. And then the tag team, that is, the tag time stands for timer, our counter, and the grammarian. Were these three introduced? Did they get to speak? Were they aware of what they were supposed to speak? The GE is expected to make note of all this. And then we move down to the next, the speech segment. Were the speakers given enough time to test their mic, so to speak, over here? Am I audible? Am I visible? Were they told to pin the timer? And then move down to the Toastmaster, the table topics master. Were the topics in keeping with the theme, or were they general? And what quality? And how adept was the table topic master in moving through the numbers, juggling through the topics? Then moving down to the third and probably the most important segment, that's a feedback. Did the general evaluator, did that person introduce the evaluators correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the end, were the tag team allowed to come and speak? And then did the GE, now that's the most thing, that this person now has to give all the feedback of whatever has happened. Now here, the GE takes on a very important role. The general evaluators does not comment on the evaluator's evaluation, merely evaluates the quality of the speech. If the general evaluator looks at how the evaluators could have done a better job, then that is not in the purview at all. They will definitely give points of improvement. These are the positive areas, and always the GE should use, not has to use, should use positive notes, because positive feedback makes a big difference. We feel good. And if I say, Toastmaster, Mr. Sriram, Toastmaster Sriram, you look handsome today. Now, I'm sure he's going to smile. Will he smile beneath his mustache? He did. Now, that's the thing. I can see him. So that thing is there, you know, that connect comes. Now, if I say the meeting did not start on time, it definitely wouldn't have started on time. But then did the meeting end on time? So that's a positive note. So the appreciation starts that even though the meeting started 5 minutes late, the Toastmaster of the day and the timer and all the other role players were able to finish the meeting on time. And that's the positive reinforcement. And that's how the reinforcement comes in. Where are the areas of improvement? You could have said this. The Toastmaster of the day could have added 1 or 2 more snippets. Or if the Toastmaster of the day just introduced people, you could have added 1 or 2 elements. You could have spoken about their occupation. You could have given them a special name, if nothing else. I may not know much about, let me take Adityan Sriram himself. I may not know where he is working, but when I would like to introduce, I would like to say a very committed Toastmaster, Toastmaster Sriram. That's the way to introduce. Those are all small nuances that the general evaluator is expected to be and say. And the Toastmaster of the day is definitely expected. And the GE makes a note of this and announces that. And why is all this happening in such an elaborate way? Simple fact, in real life, when we go back to our workplaces, are we in a position to make our meetings a cordial place where people learn? Are we able to make our office ambience a good place, an amicable place to work? Because at the end of the day, what we learn here is what we're going to transfer there in our real life. So at every step, the GE role becomes very important. Now, what happens when there is a judgmental mentality that comes in? If there is this, there may have been a number of errors. Now, where would the errors be? Usually happens when people do not turn up on time, or they turn up late and somebody else has already taken the place. And that's when they come and speak in front. I was already the timer. I'm so sorry I came late. Now, those things, they do not show a good image of any club. So the GE makes a note of it and says that if there is anyone who comes in late or is going to be absent, it's always good to inform the TMOD or the president or the VP education or any one of the responsible committed members of the ExCom prior information so that an alternative is given, is made. Now, how will the GE say this is how the person will say? Not that you were talking over each other, that there were a lot of issues that were happening that were all visible, and it did not bring a good name to the club. Now, those are all words that will pull down the morale of a person, of a club, and especially with new members who are already scared to come in front of the screen. The GE's words, general evaluation, makes a big difference. So GE, folks, is a crucial, probably the most important person in any meeting. Now, when the last part, when the evaluation process starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, according to the agenda, the GE looks and gives positive feedback first, and then says, there were a number of areas where I feel could be improved, and not say that this went wrong, that went wrong, but say it in a way that if this had been done, it would have sounded so much better. Now, if the speaker had been a little more prepared, perhaps this could have been done. Perhaps if the Zoom master had been aware that somebody was going to provide a PPT prior to the speech, would have saved time. That's how a positive reinforcement is given. The feedback is taken very positive, but also the areas of improvement are mentioned very clear. So this leaves us with a good note. So the general evaluation, ladies and gentlemen, is crucial to give a good morale boost to new members and leave the senior members or any, like Nitya says, I'm neither a new member nor an old member, somewhere in between. So in between members, so to speak, that they also feel that they have learned something. At the end of the day, general evaluation is a learning, and the general evaluator provides that learning experience. With that, Toastmaster Surya, I'm very happy to see you. Let me welcome so many of you. Toastmaster Satya, are we ready with the time? Did I reach yellow? Now, let me now move to my second important assignment of talking about the timer. Now here, if you can see my screen, I will be sharing, I'm not going to be sharing something, but I will show you something in the background. Before I start, as I have reached already the 10 minutes mark, it's great, good, I'm on schedule. Timer is the second most important role player in a Toastmasters meeting. Obviously, everybody's time is important. It's always good to join meetings on time, 2 minutes, even if it is 2 minutes before the meeting starts. In Zoom especially, because the host is either going to be looking at who's going to be present and welcoming, or is that person going to be admitting people. So it's always good to be a little kinder to the Zoom master and come a little early, at least 2 or 3 minutes early, so that whoever is the president, the presiding officer, takes up the meeting and carries it. Now the timer has to keep track of when the meeting started. That's the starting point. So today's timer happens to be Toastmaster Satya, and I know that he has already done so. And he's already keeping track of time because it's still showing green for me. So I'm confident that I'm on schedule. But I cannot take things for granted. And I need to make sure that the whole meeting continues, progresses, and ends on time. So now that we have started talking about the timer, how does the timer keep the time? As you can see, it's the background. And can everyone see the timer? Yes. Now I'm going to do something over here. He's showing it in the background, and I can show you another way that the timer can show the time. This is green, right? You can all see me as well. But what should the timer do? To not be visible, but the speaker sees the cards. Take a sheet of paper like this and put it just above the laptop camera. That is green. Let it be on. And when the next segment comes, and I'm sure if you keep looking at what Satya is doing, he will bring it to a point where we can all see the yellow. You cannot see me. I'm still here, but my camera is on. I don't want to be visible. The timing card should be visible. Instead of sharing the screen and disturbing the speaker, this is a good way. This is a better way, especially when the Zoom master pins the timer along with the person who is speaking. This should be a definite practice. Now, after this comes a red. Now, when I reach that red point where I need to start wrapping up things, I don't need to move out. All I have to do is shift here. And how did I do this, folks? I went into stop video. I did not stop my video. I just chose virtual background. I added these backgrounds there. I left them there, and my window was also open. So that's how it works, right? I just closed my camera, the lens with the small paper, and that's it. And now, when I want to move out, all I have to do is go with none, and I'm back. But I'm still visible to myself in that small window, wherein I can see on my left-hand side, general video, audio, all those, that menu, because that's how the timer works. And this is crucial. Right now, it is yellow for me. I still have some time. Now, it gives me time. It gives me a little sense of satisfaction. Oh my God, I'm still sticking to time. That's good. Now, if Satya were to share his screen, it's going to shift and I will lose track of what I'm saying. So the Zoom master, the host, needs to make sure that whenever there's a speech happening, the speaker and the timer are both available. Otherwise, the other option is for the speaker to pin personally on their laptop if they're on their laptop, or if they're on the phone, make sure that they double click on the timer, and that's it. A lot of the time, the speakers, we are also interested to see how we are speaking, that we lose track of time, and that's how we jump over time. But when we pin the timer, the audience can see our faces and we look very handsome and very beautiful, very smart. We only need to worry about the time. So that's how it works. Now, what does the timer say? There's a script for it. The timer says, "Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. My name is Satya. I am the timer for today. And today I will be keeping the time for our prepared speeches. and our evaluations. And then what is going to be the time if there is table topics? Then also for table topics, any new guests, there are a number of guests over here. Let me give a brief as to how the whole process of the Toastmasters meeting will work. Toastmasters is a platform where your speeches, you are not trained, you are encouraged to become a good speaker. Whether you want to be a public speaker or you want to be a better speaker in your workplaces, this is a great platform. And the evaluation, the feedback is always very positive. Therefore, there is always a learning. And at every step, there's a learning experience. When you keep making mistakes, you polish them. Now, when the timer comes up, the timer starts talking about the prepared speeches. The prepared speeches are speeches that are between either 4 to 6 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the projects. And we have a number of projects under different levels. And speakers are encouraged to keep within that. Usually it is 5 to 7 minutes with 30 seconds of grace period. And Satya is going to say all of that when the tag team is coming up. So when you hear him, you will come to know exactly what he says. Then with the table topics is an extempore. It's an extempore speech on the spot. We put you on the spot. And then we say, okay, fine, this is your topic. Start talking about what is special about today for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Now I have exactly 2 minutes more to wind up my speech. As you can see, Satya, he's showing the red background. This is where, mentally I'm getting ready. Okay, fine, I need to wind up. I'm on absolute track. I have reached table topics. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Can you speak? As long as you can. But don't take it beyond 2 minutes and 30 seconds, because then the meeting time is taken over. Try to keep it at least between 1 and 2 minutes. A lot of time, guests are also given a number of opportunities to speak. Sometimes they are able to speak a lot. A lot of times they do flounder, they do fumble a bit, but that's perfectly fine. We encourage people to come and participate because that's where the learning lies. Now, when the table topics is between 1 and 2 minutes with 30 seconds of grace, then the timer moves on to talk about the evaluations. Evaluations are between 2 and 3 minutes with 30 seconds of grace. And evaluators have to sum up a lot. Today, we will see a number of them. 4 people talking about how the speeches went. I think I've covered the whole thing. And now, most important, what the timer has to do is there is a report. The timer has to maintain that report because it has to be submitted to the Sergeant at Arms, who will hand it over to the President to be filed. These are all minutes. These are all details. These are all documentation that needs to be filed. A number of clubs do have this practice of writing the timeouts properly, presenting it as a shared screen, and then talking about it. Each club has their own practice. Now, I cannot speak whether this is right or there is not. There is nothing right or wrong. It is just how comfortable we are doing what we are doing, provided everything stays within the time, because the timer is responsible to keep time. Now, when the meeting started and when the meeting went over, when it got done, that's the last point of the timer. The timer does not talk of who took extra time, who did not qualify, who did not stay within, let's say, within 5 to 7 minutes. That person, the timer will only take the name of somebody who went beyond the time. Will not give comments on how they could have saved time. That the timer will not do. These are all questions that are normally asked, so I answer. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I come to the end of this education session. I'd like to thank the ExCom for giving the opportunity to start this series. And I hope this continues, because new Toastmasters and guests, well, they need to know what's happening in a Toastmasters meeting. It's not just a place where you come together and learn public speaking. You also learn leadership qualities, because the leader learns how to give feedback. If you give a negative feedback, you know exactly where you stand with your subordinate. And the timer, as a timer, we learn to keep track of our time. I'd like to give it back to the Toastmaster of the day. If there are any questions, I would like the questions to be posted on chat. Yes, guest Sendil, if you would like to, since you raised your hand.
Yeah, I have a specific question. During your session, you mentioned that general evaluator should not be evaluating the evaluator,
Yes.
but they can touch upon the quality of the speech. So where does the thin line lies? Like they can really mention if there is something missed out by the evaluator?
Yes and no. When the general evaluator is listening to the evaluators, obviously there are certain elements which would have already gone in their mind. So there is an intake, there's an assimilation, there's an absorption of information. Now, how does the general evaluator give the evaluation of a speaker? You don't need to, because that was not your job. But if you would like to give, I'm just giving an example. I would like to touch upon, as you said, touch upon the speaker. I found that Toastmaster, let's say, let me take any one person's name. Let me take Toastmaster Nitya. Nitya's speech, all the speakers were great. Nitya touched upon this, Vinod touched upon this, Uma touched upon this, and let you touched upon this, and that's how it goes. Not take the speech in its barest and open up the Pandora's box. They don't do that, because the evaluator will also obviously be giving the feedback. Then where does the evaluator stand? All we can do as general evaluators is just add a few elements, generally touch upon what the speaker spoke about, and say something positive, and that's it. Because that's where the thin line is. I hope that answers your question, Mrs.
Yeah,
Sundar.
thank you so much. Thank you.
If there are no questions, can I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day? Please give a round of applause for the educational session. That was a good session. I'm sure you all gained a lot. Now I take on the role of the Toastmaster of the day. Now, that's the best part about being a Toastmaster, because this is the place where a Toastmaster dons many hats. That's one of the crucial things. That's the key factor that we learn. Toastmaster Swarnalata knows even more than anybody else the number of roles that we do in a particular meeting. Imagine on Zoom. Imagine in real time how much stress any Toastmaster of the day would. But that's where it is, and that's where we learn crisis management. We learn to think on our feet. Now, let me, as we had opened up about one of the first things that I was talking about as a Toastmaster of the day, I said, what's so special about today? That was one thing, Lego Day. The second thing I would like us to keep in mind is somebody from our history. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. General Kariyappa, Commander-in-Chief, first Commander-in-Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, today is his 124th birth anniversary today. That's special about today. And why are we talking about him? Because we do not have the right to forget our history. Unless we remember our heroes, we will never pass on that good quality of preserving the memory of the heroes for our future generation. So today's meeting is special because today happens to be his 124th birth anniversary. Now, let's move on to our meeting. I would now like to invite the GE. Now, where is the GE? In our agenda, Toastmaster Swarnalata has already raised the hand, but before I take her over to that, is there anybody else, with your permission, Swarnalata, can I ask somebody else if our new Toastmasters, if they would be interested to take up this role? Right. I was hoping that somebody would come up. Did somebody raise their hands? Except for Swarnalata? Fine. Now that we have done this, if you see in the agenda, the words T, the alphabets TBD would have been given. Because that was the last minute that we came to know our general evaluator had some other issues. So now, to be decided. At this moment, we decide, with your permission, as a parliamentary procedure, I, DTM Gayatri, member of SpeakMagic Toastmasters Club, would like to propose Toastmaster Swarnalata as the general evaluator. I would like somebody to please second the motion.
I second that.
I am Toastmaster Nitya.
I Toastmaster Nitya second the suggestion given by DTM Gayatri.
Excellent. Now we have our general evaluator. Welcome on board Toastmaster Swanlata. The floor is yours. Please take the meeting forward and introduce your team to us.
Good evening, everyone. As introduced, I am the Toastmaster, I am the general evaluator for today's meeting. And before I proceed, I want to remember to take you back to your school days. Do you remember that badge that someone would happily, proudly put sport on the shirt? Yes, the class monitor. Do you remember that guy or that girl who will be like, hey, you better be better. You better be good. So today, I am that class monitor. I'm going to keep my eyes and ears open to all the activities that you are going to do. But don't worry, I have a very kind heart. I will also look upon all the fabulous and good job that you have done. And I'm going to announce that to the entire club. Hey, he has done this good job. So as Gayatri has already explained, that's my role. I am the general evaluator. And you see how difficult my task is. So to help me with this, I have my TAG team. TAG T stands for timer. And here is a seasoned Toastmaster who keeps value of time, none like other. So it is very apt. I would like to call upon Toastmaster Satya to explain his role as timer for today's meeting. Toastmaster Satya.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So thank you, General Evaluator. Madam Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmaster, all dear guests. So in the role of a timer, I'll be timing all the speeches and the time taken by the evaluators. So before going to the timer rules, so we know because we are joining in a virtual meet, so I'll be using virtual timer cards for today. So it's a request for all speakers to pin me on their Zoom windows so that they can see the timer cards which will be flashing behind my background. And I'll also request the Zoom master to spotlight me and the speaker when the speakers are speaking, because on mobile devices, it's difficult for few of the participants to pin the second person. So whenever, let me show you, let me share the timing rules as set by Toastmaster, because we are having both icebreaker speeches today and prepared speeches for this today. So I'll be sharing the timing rules for both. For regular general prepared speeches, the time allocated is 7 minutes with a grace of 30 seconds. So I'll be showing green card like this when the speaker reaches 5 minutes. I'll be showing yellow cards like this in my background when the speaker reaches 6 minutes. I'll be sharing red background like this when the speaker completes his 7 allocated minutes. There will be always a 30 minutes grace period for the speaker to be able to be considered for a best speaker out. For the icebreaker speeches, the time will be 4 minutes for the green card, 5 minutes for the yellow card, and 6 minutes for the red card. I'll be continuing showing this after 6 minutes also, showing that the time has already completed. For the evaluators, the time duration allocated are 2 minutes for the green card, 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the yellow card, and 3 minutes for the red card. There is also 30 minutes grace period. So I'll be ready with my time records. So when and whenever I'll be asked upon by the general evaluator, I'll be showing the cards. So I'll be also pasting the time limits in the chat window. So for the convenience of the new speakers and new attendees of this meeting. So over to you, Chennai Livalete.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Satya. Now, A stands for our counter. So, for you to explain what it is, let me call upon Toastmaster Karthik, who is the our counter for today's meeting, to explain his roles and responsibility. Toastmaster Karthik.
Thank you, Mama. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So, being your counter, the purpose of my role is to note down the words and sounds that are used as a crutch or fast filler by anyone who speaks. So, during this meeting, I will also listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words such as and And I will also listen for the repetitions of words made by the speaker. At the end of this meeting, I'll convey all my observations to the general evaluator as a report. Yeah. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karthik. Now I would like to go for the G, who is always a greater G in Toastmasters meeting, the grammarian for today. Toastmaster Ismail is the grammarian for today. I would request Toastmaster Ismail to explain his roles and responsibilities.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My net connection is a little bit slow today, so I may not be very clear, but I'm the grammarian of the day today. So my role is to find good usage of grammar by various Toastmasters, and as well as to find the not so good usage of the grammar, and also the word of the day today is charming. So all the speakers have to try their best to use this word charming in their speech. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for grammarian. Now I would call upon, we will be presenting our G reports at the end of the meeting when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. So now I would like to hand over the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Swarnalatha. We have an order change in our speakers. So according to the parliamentary procedures, I'd like to first make the statement that the order is going to be this way. First, Toastmaster Swarnalatha will be speaking. The second speaker is Toastmaster Vinod. The third speaker is Toastmaster Nitya, and the fourth is Toastmaster Sibi. This is the change in the order. It is different in the agenda. So according to our parliamentary procedures, I, DTM Gayatri Ravindra, member of the SpeakMagic Toastmasters Club, would like to propose an order change in the agenda. Please, one of our members, 2 seconds.
I, TM Nitya, second whatever you said.
So with the permission granted, the order of the speakers is changed. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, here we come to prepared speeches. When we all stand in front of a crowd, that's when our hands begin to become cold. It's the same thing in front of a screen. There's no difference. Just because I cannot see people in front of me, I can see you all in front of me, my hands are still cold. Why does that happen? That's because we are still not used to speaking with so many people's eyes on us. Somewhere I think senior Toastmasters here may agree that it's so much better in real life. You don't really feel that scared. Here, because everybody is looking at us, we become the cynosure of everybody's eyes. That's when the scare factor is quite real. But our prepared speakers are not going to be that way. Our prepared speakers have prepared very well. Now, first, I'd like to call upon a chemical engineer with a decade of corporate experience and who is a very passionate public speaker. Toastmaster Swarnalatha is here to give her speech first, and she loves to cycle, and she's a die-hard Harry Potter fan. Now, the person who's going to be evaluating is Toastmaster Nitya. But I will talk about Toastmaster Nitya later when she comes to speak. That's the privilege I have. So I withhold that information. Toastmaster Nitya, please, could you brief us on what Toastmaster Swarnalatha's speech is all about?
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Gayatri ma'am. So I'll go ahead and explain about my speaker. The purpose of her speech is going to be to introduce herself to the club and to write a speech with a structure. You've guessed it right. It's going to be her icebreaker for her second pathway. And her pathway is visionary communication. Her speech title is Me, Myself, and I. TM Swarnalata, Me, Myself, and I. Me, Myself, and I, TM Swarnalata. Over to you.
So even before I start my speech, I just want to know, are you all comfortable wherever you're sitting? Are you comfortable, guys? You can just raise your hands or just unmute and speak. Are you comfortable wherever you are? Oh, thank you. But you know what? I am not comfortable. I have butterfly movements in my tummy. Yes, I'm going to give a speech after 7 months. So lots of butterflies are making its way. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I am Toastmaster Swarnalata, and my objective for today is to explain you me, myself, and I. And then I thought, what should I be telling you about myself? I don't want to describe my past. I thought, why not talking about my present? Sometimes past must be very boring, right? So with all you permission that I understand, I want to talk to you about who am I at present moment. You know what? I am SAHM. Now you people would be wondering, what the hell is SAHM? This is an abbreviation for Stay at Home Mom. And now I know you all want to appreciate me for the kind of sacrifice that I have done. But you know what? My son is extremely annoyed. He's 6 years old and he tells me, when are you going to go to office? Come late in night just like Dada. See, that's mine. So I thought, how do I tell you who I am? Then I thought, why not I observe myself for a day and then tell you all who am I? So on Saturday early morning, I am a very enthusiastic cyclist who go for 30 to 40 kilometers cycle ride with lots of dream of joining BMR, doing my 200 kilometers, 400 kilometers, exchanging my normal cycle to a super rider. Of course, my husband should be in a good mood and very inclusive of my spending habit. And then evening, I am a very passionate Toastmaster who wants to become a DTM, who wants to be the upcoming area director, who also wants to be someone who is going to go on the stage of our District 120 meeting, get the golden gravel and say, yay, we have done this, I am SpeakMagician. And then the moment my SpeakMagic Toastmaster zooms out, I'm a crazy movie buff who just wants to crash on Amazon Prime. Luckily, I don't get the TV, but I only get to watch on the tab. And I watch all the nonsense movies. Any movie, English, Hindi, Telugu, Malayalam, I watch everything. And then I say, oh, that's the reason why they gave it a very bad rating, you know. And while watching the movie, I'm someone who's crazy, who keeps on eating all the stuffs as if there is no food available for me tomorrow. And all my dieting, all my exercise just vanishes. And Sunday morning, I am someone, a very, very patriotic Indian woman who checks every nook and corner of her shops. And no, I can't just buy one apple just by looking at it. I have to see 3-4 apple shops, compare them, and then say, yeah, this is good for my family, and do the weekly purchase. And by the end of Sunday evening, I am a very enthusiastic, aspiring data scientist who is very adored and sits like a student and get all the knowledge that my faculty is trying to teach me, annoying them to the point that they say, hey Swarnalata, you just have one-on-one with us, okay? That is where we are going to explain you. Now tell me, what version am I? I have so many versions of me, but then how do you explain the feelings when you have different versions of you coming up and down? I believe we all exist like a pack of three, me, myself, and I. When I want to chill and when I want to be giggling, it's me. When I want to be strict, responsible, I am a parent. When I want to be moody, tired, I feel personality disorder. I don't know. Or why do you change with different experiences and different encounters of moments you keep? Don't slot yourself. Enjoy your life as it comes. Pick up multiple roles, as in our toast. So this is all about me, myself, and I.
I think somewhere we lost the connection. We will wait for 30 seconds just to see if she is able to come back. But she is the GE as well. Right. So now I think Toastmaster Swarnalata has left the meeting and then probably she'll be joining again. Yes, she is. There she is. We lost you.
You lost me. Okay. I don't know where you lost me. So it's okay. I already have crossed the green line, so I would conclude myself. You can go with the second speaker.
Right. The starting points of whatever we heard, they were very interesting. And I am definitely looking forward to our evaluator to give the feedback. Now, anyone who would like to give feedback regarding whatever was heard, is please requested to post their feedback, their comments in the chat box addressed to Toastmaster Swarnalata. Me, myself, and I. Let's move on to our second speaker, Toastmaster Vinod Kumarappa. He is a businessman with 2 businesses and planning to start a third one in the month of March. And I'm looking forward to knowing more about that, but I'll speak to you later regarding that. Such a humble person who gave me only a 2-line introduction. He was beaten in description by his evaluator, Toastmaster Karthik, who said, I'm a normal human being who wants to make a difference. So a speaker and an evaluator well matched. Toastmaster Karthik, could you please introduce?
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So my target speaker, Toastmaster Vinod, he'll be giving his level 1 icebreaker speech under the pathway dynamic leadership. As the name says, as the name of the project says, the purpose of his speech is just to break the ice, which is for us to know him better, for us to know him much more as a person, and for him to gain ease over his levels of dynamic leadership. So all the best, Toastmaster Vinod, for your icebreaker speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Vinod, a passionate entrepreneur, Toastmaster Vinod.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your introduction. And before starting the meeting, this is my first speech in Toastmasters SpeakMagic Club. So, as Swarnalata ma'am mentioned, butterflies in tummy. So current situation is like that. I will start my speech with that, my icebreaker speech with that. So when it comes to my introduction, my name is Vinod Kumrappa. So I'm the founder of Mark Ventures, the best real estate development company in Tirupati. And I started a preschool under the brand name of Kidsy. I have completed more than 100 plots. I developed more than 100 plots in Tirupati, and I have more than 100 satisfied customers with me. As of now, those who invested in my projects got 20 to 30% of returns in the span of 1 to 2 years. That's what my introduction. And in this meeting, I'm going to take 7 minutes. In this meeting, I'm going to tell what are the skills and knowledge that I'm really looking to develop using Toastmasters Club support. Yeah, and I'm going to explain about myself, my career, my education, my values, and my role models. I'm going to explain. So let's start my icebreaker speech. So when it comes to skills, what skills specifically I'm looking to enhance in myself using Toastmasters Club? Presentation skills, leadership skills, storytelling skills, and one more thing is overall as a public speaking skills. When it comes to presentation skills, definitely I'm looking to create a powerful PPTs and voice modulations, eye contact, gestures of body positions. So all these things I'm really looking to enhance using Toastmasters Club. And when it comes to public speaking skill as a overall, there is a fact 75% of people has more fear of public speaking than fear of death. So I really want to win that ability to speak on public effectively and influence people. And leadership skills. When it comes to leadership skills, I can't do everything by myself in my business. I need definitely team support, customer support, partner support. To do all these things, definitely I need to enhance my leadership skills. For that, I definitely require practice to develop that leadership skills. So using this Toastmasters, again, I'm looking to develop that. And storytelling skills. Basically, storytelling has influence to connect people, and it makes people to work for us. I personally believe storytelling is a powerful skill. And knowledge part, I'm really looking to develop the scripts, how to present effectively using the fixed methods, storytelling process, procedures, scripts. So all this knowledge I'm really looking to enhance. And when it comes to my personal, my family, I have a sister who has a kid 5 years old. My dad is a businessman. My mom is a businessman. That's how I really got in my mindset that I need to become a businessman, maybe, I guess. And my education, I'm a mechanical engineer, passed out in 2017 with 70% with distinction. And my career, I started my job in Life Plus Hospital, which is in Bangalore. That's my first job and last job. From then on, I never turned back. I started my journey with the help of Dr. Shekhar Reddy. He is from Life Plus Hospital, Bangalore. And my role models, business, Rajiv Talreja is my business role model. Whatever he says, I will follow in my business. I'm the member of his trainings. And my mom is the personal influencer of my career because I saw her hard work on growing my business, my family, my education, my dad. She supported my dad and she married my sister. So how she struggled in her life, that's a real inspiration for me. My mom is a inspiration for me. And Dr. Shekhar Reddy is my first mentor. He put the seed in me as a business owner. That's my role models. And my personal values, or I personally believe in maximum people will think first thing, goal, second, plan, third, execute. Goal, plan, execute, usually people do like that. But my personal motive and philosophy is first I will go, then I will execute, then I will plan. Just immediately I will take action. Ongoing, I will plan. That process continues. That's how I live in my life. Whatever I do, I live with that. And why I'm really interested to develop public speaking skills is because I personally feel 5% of the people managing 95% of the population, those 5% people, I personally believe that those 5% people are great public speakers. Example, all the politicians, consciously, subconsciously, they are the great public speakers. All the managers, CEOs in the higher level companies are the great public speakers. So I personally believe public speaking is a great ability to influence thousands of people, lakhs of people, in even world. We can influence old population as well using public speaking skills because it's difficult to manage one-to-one. So if we want to go one-to-one, it's very hard to influence the old. But as a public speaking, we can do wonders using public speaking skills. That's my icebreaker speech. And thank you so much for giving this opportunity. And hand over to General Evaluator Swarnalatha ma'am.
You're handing it back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster Vinod.
Yes.
Right. That was a good speech. We will wait for your evaluator to give you your evaluation. Let's move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is a writer by passion and an engineer by qualification. She loves to devour stories and believes that every single happening in life teaches us something. And she also likes to doodle and she loves to drink chai. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Nitya to give her speech. To evaluate Toastmaster Nitya, let me introduce her evaluator. A Toastmaster since 2016, DTM Gayatri loves children, dogs, chocolate, and lecturing her husband in that order. Well, I thought I will wait for you all to give reactions, and that's exactly what I got. My target speaker, Toastmaster Nitya. The speech is from the project Connect with Your Audience. Her path is Innovative Planning Level 2. Her speech title, between 5 to 7 minutes of duration, is The Curious Case from Saturday Morning Musings. Toastmaster Nitya, The Curious Case from Saturday Morning Musings. The Curious Case from Saturday Morning Musings. Toastmaster Nitya, your 5 to 7 minutes with 30 seconds of grace period.
Thank you, ma'am. Predicting the future isn't magic, it's artificial intelligence. A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests present here. Now, a Saturday morning sparks so much delight within us like no other day does. Any guesses why? Well, that's not surprising after a week hustling, bustling, and sweating, you get one day off. You get to spend few extra moments at bed, laze around without having anybody chase you back and back to get work done. Woof, you feel so less pressurized and more full of pleasure. If that is not a delight, what else is? That is the first thing that I would like to talk about, because that was exactly my day this morning. I woke up, had my fresh cup of chai without which I can't live. And after that, I went ahead and did something which warrants special mention. Now you may wonder why all this hula boo and build up. Well, I did something I never usually do, that is to take up a newspaper and read. Now, I have always had my aunts criticize this habit of mine, saying it's a bad habit that I don't consume newspapers as often as I should be. Because according to them, their whole generation had this whole process of reading papers synonymous to having hot filter coffee from brass tumblers. And that stands for them even today. So to them, the younger generation, which is the millennials and the Gen Z, are not ever good enough because they don't really read newspapers. So all of these things started getting into my head, and I decided to pay heed to her advice. I went ahead and took up the newspaper. Now, when I took it, the supplementary paper fell out of it, and that piqued my attention a lot more. I just went in and saw what was there on the first page. I read a few lines, and then the heading of the article really caught my attention. In bold letters, it was written, "Is artificial intelligence a boon or a bane?" And I was totally sold. I mean, what else can take my interest more than that? Artificial intelligence is such a developing, blooming field. I've had the chance to work on it, and it's been something that's always fascinated me. I proceeded and read a couple more paragraphs, and this took me into my memory lane. This took me back to the time when I did my very first project on artificial intelligence. Now, before proceeding, I would like to explain what it means. Now, artificial intelligence is a sort of a science, a way of method or a study where you get a computer or a machine to think and simulate the working of the human brain, just like how the human brain does. Now, with this understanding, we can go ahead and grasp what has been done. Now, my first project was on the Indian traffic on the roads. Now, why Indian traffic, you may ask? It's a very interesting premise because you have no lane discipline like the other countries. You have people coming helter and skelter. You can have cows coming. There's just no control over what can happen. And then we have a variety of vehicles like cars, autos, buses. And autos are not very popular in a lot of bigger countries. So that is definitely a point that was interesting to consider. So this was done for the purpose of trying to avert accidents and to find out defaulters. Now you may wonder why. Or you may wonder how. I'll explain both. Now, why? Because this would help the public in general. And how is we have a method where we teach the system to detect or find out that there is something on the road through an image and classify it as whether it's a bus, bike, car, auto, or a human by teaching it with a certain way. Now, what pedagogy was followed, I'll explain. Very simple. You know our brain. We've all studied 7th standard biology where we know a human brain is made up of millions of neurons and nerve cells. Now, it's the same concept in artificial intelligence where the mission is called a neural network. A neural network behaves exactly like the brain. No difference. I'll explain how. Now, as you get ideas or inputs into your brain, you have something called an input set of neurons or an input layer for the brain. This is the block where you give your input. And then you have a set of hidden layers of neurons. This is exactly what the human brain does, where it does all the thinking, which is hidden away from the imagination. And then you have an output layer of neurons where they give the output. What I did was I took thousands and thousands of images and annotated them. Namely, I taught the system a car is a car, a bus is a bike, and so on. A bus is a bus and a bike is a bike, and so on. Now, this was given to the system in a process called training. Just like how we sit and study for our exams, we have training there. And we usually take many days to learn. An AI system takes only 1 day to learn. So by the end of the 1 day, it learns everything. And after that, when you test it, like how we test ourselves with exams, and you give it out of syllabus portions, like different images that it has not seen before, it will still detect a bike or a car or a bus perfectly. Now, that is the marvel of artificial intelligence, if you ask me, because it can think on its own. Wait, let's not gallop further ahead. It is also said a year spent in AI is enough to make one believe in God. Now, I'll explain why. For all the merits of AI, it also has a specific disadvantage. It can think on its own, but it can also behave very weirdly. There was one specific instance where my system did something called overfitting, where it learned too much and started behaving like the over-enthusiastic kid on the block. It started detecting a car as a sort of a van or a lorry because of the occlusion or the view that was there. And it detected a painting on a lorry as a human. That was really funny, made for a great joke. So this, with all the chat GPT issue and all of this going, I can assure that AI is here to stay, but it's definitely not going to take over humans anytime soon. And to summarize all of this effectively, I would only say one thing. AI is great. AI has a lot of potential. No, there's no denying that. But one thing is that AI lacks a very, very vital parameter, which is what we have, namely empathy and emotions. These are some things an AI can never grasp. And that's why I would say we should all celebrate the whole spirit of being human. And that's what I think. What about all of you? Thank you.
That was wonderful. I came to know about a number of terminologies that my son has been using, and he's into AI. I've had no idea what all these are, but I was reminded that probably there are a lot of people who are into the same fields. Well, that was a speech well done. Now, our final speaker, and I hate to say the last but not the least, it's best to avoid that. Our final speaker is an industrial automation engineer by profession, currently working in L&T in the rubber processing machinery in Kanjipuram. He likes to explore new hobbies, and I am looking forward to knowing what they are. And he also dreams of becoming a public speaker. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Sibi, who is going to come up to give his next speech. Evaluating him is another engineer who loves to travel, loves to watch cricket, and by passion, he loves to speak. Please put your hands together to bring our evaluator of Toastmaster Sibi, Partha. Toastmaster Partha, please give us the speech objectives.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful. Our speaker, TM is young and energetic. I always love to listen him. Before come to his speech, I would like to share that he is appearing his project 4 of level 1 of his pathway of presentation mastery. Although it is the second speech of evaluation and feedback, he already given the first speech, evaluator given his or her feedback. On the basis of that, he is going to appear the second speech on the evaluation and feedback. The purpose of this speech is that the purpose of the project to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. And purpose of the speech is the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech of evaluation speech. Okay. TMCB, laughter is the medicine. Laughter is the medicine, TMCB. Stage is yours. Best of luck.
Thank you, TM Partha. Good evening, all. I'm here to speak upon one of the most popular sayings. Laughter is the best medicine. Let me tell you what me and my friend do. We always tag along with others and have a good laugh. This in the beginning seemed pretty dubious to me, and I was wondering how this could help anyone. But It helped me, but now it was the most favorite part in my life in the day, and I always look forward to it. It helped me in a lot of ways that I could have ever imagined. I am an introvert person. Laughter helped me better at interacting with others and increased my confidence and my social circle too. People who often laugh are truly magnetic in nature. They're party of their life, and their charm is infectious. They bring the people together and build a sense of community in any kind of situation. Laughter has its own power in one's life and even in health. Whenever we are in a tough or gloomy situation, there are a lot of people who advises us to have a laugh or smile, stating that laughter is the best medicine. I would like to mention some of the significant benefits of laughter. It relaxes the whole body. Having a good laugh, good and hearty laugh, decreases the physical stress and tension, thus relaxes our muscles. It boosts the immune system. Laughter decreases the stress hormones and increases the immune cells and infection fighting antibodies, thus improving our resistance to disease. It triggers the release of endorphins. Laughter improves the body's natural feel-good chemicals. Endorphins overall promote the well-being and relieves the pain temporarily. It protects the heart. Laughter improves the blood vessels and increases the blood flow, which helps us to prevent us from heart attacks and other cardiovascular problems. Laughter burns calories. Okay, it is not replacement for going to gym, but one study states that laughing approximately 10 to 15 minutes can burn 40 calories, which could relate losing 3 to 4 pounds over a course of year. Laughter lightens anger's heavy load. Nothing diffuses anger and conflict faster than shared laugh. Laughter may help us to live longer. A study in Norway states that people who have the strong sense of humor outlived who don't laugh as much. Laughter stops distressing emotions. You can't feel sad, angry, or anxious when you are laughing. Laughter helps us to recharge. It reduces stress and increases energy, enabling you to focus and accomplish more. Laughter shifts perspective, allowing us to see the situation in more realistic and less threatening light. A humor perspective creates psychological distance, which could you avoid feeling overwhelmed and diffuse conflict. It draws you closer to others, which can have profound effect on our mental or emotional health. When you share a burst of laughter, you are making memories. It strengthens your connection and bond with other people. You might have observed even someone meeting for the first time, someone cracks a joke, everyone bursts into laughter. The ice is immediately broken and bringing two people together. There is no cheaper and best way to stay healthy, and one must laugh while you still have teeth. So it is important to take this dose medicine every now and then in a day, and I assure you it is expertly recommended. Now, mental health has been a main concern, and laughter helps a great deal in staying positive and calm. Can also it calms us from anxiety and depression. So keep laughing and stay healthy is not an easy alternative to a workout that also promises same benefits. So keep laughing and stay healthy. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you so much.
That was a good speech, Toastmaster Sibi. I'd like to encourage all our audience to send messages by chat. Now, as the last part of the theme, what's so special about today? Apart from the speeches, the wonderful sessions that we've been having, I'd like to also bring forth something very serious. And with that, the themes, the elements of the themes will close. I'd like you to have a look at what I have right now. International Reducing CO2 Emission Day. Today is the day when we need to look at the fact that we are adding so much of CO2 emissions by way of our industries, by way of our carbon emissions through various technical equipments. And today is the day we need to take an oath to protect our planet. And with that, I come to the end of that particular series of the theme. I introduced a few elements, a few dates, a few names, a few terms. Please remember to never forget history, to remember that we add value or we remove value from our own environment. And also remember to play, because Lego is for play. With that, let's move on to our last segment. It's right now 8:30. So it's a normal standard procedure, parliamentary procedure. I'd like to propose to extend the meeting by 10 minutes. That's exactly what it's going to take. IDTM Gayatri would like to propose an extension of 10 more minutes beyond 8:45. Please second, members.
ITM Nitya second that.
The best combination. May I call upon stage our general evaluator for the evening, who has disappeared.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I would like to proceed with the evaluation for the prepared speech. So I would like to call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Nitya, to come on the stage and give her evaluation for our first speaker, Toastmaster Swarnalatha.
Thank you, General Evaluator, ma'am. What version am I? So many versions. How to explain the feeling? I was totally sold on this particular sentence because it seemed a line out of a script. So beautiful and fit perfectly in place. So what to talk about a seasoned Toastmaster who's already given her first pathway and is starting a second. She did a very nice start. She checked up with us as to how things were going, because in an online meeting, I think it's very important that we do that. And after that, she introduced herself and spoke about various aspects of her life that she thought we should know. She spoke a bit about the Toastmasters Club, the Golden Gavel, her personal hobbies. Overall, she sprinkled it with a bit of everything that we now know her more as a person than we did before the speech. So that's definitely a thing that she's done in the right way, an apt mix of everything. Having said that, there are a few things, a few recommendations that she can adapt going forward, which would make her amazing speech even more amazing. So one would be that, it would be nice if, it would translate better on screen if the speaker stands and speaks, because we get to see the hand gesture more. So that would be a good thing to do going forward. So if you could stand and give your speech, we would be able to see the body language, and also the whole hand gestures part, we'll be able to see it better. So those are the only suggestions I have. Otherwise, it was an amazing speech. And going forward, we are just hoping to see more speeches from you. To summarize it, I would say it was just great. We're looking to hear more from a second pathway and listen to you speak a lot more, because we've missed your prepared speeches a lot in the last few months. So that was the thing. Yes, the Zoom issue was a bit of a glitch, but I think it's a factor that's out of everybody's control. So that apart, it was an amazing speech. Hoping to listen to more speeches from you, ma'am. Thank you.
General Evaluator. Toastmasters on you.
Yeah. Sorry everybody. Today my bandwidth is not working completely, so I am on with the mobile data. So that's the reason. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nitya, for your evaluation. So I would like to call upon the second evaluator for today, Toastmaster Karthik, who is going to evaluate Toastmaster Vinod. Before Toastmaster Karthik evaluates Toastmaster Vinod, I would like every one of you to unmute yourself and virtually upload.
Yes. A big round of applause.
Applause for Toastmaster Vinod. Actually, this is a tradition that is followed in Toastmasters. Whoever gives an icebreaker speech, they'll have this, which I got in my icebreakers, and Toastmaster Vinod, it is your turn. Congrats. Am I audible? Hello.
Go ahead, Karthik.
Sure. So, Toastmaster Vinod, like it is your icebreaker in giving speech. Similarly, it is my icebreaker in giving evaluation. So, if there's something like any difference, then just text me, bro. I'll explain to you. Toastmaster Vinod, you began your speech by saying, like you had butterflies flying in your stomach, and yeah, that is very relatable. Even like all Toastmasters, they have this feeling. So that created humor, like while you are giving your speech, yeah. So that's the one thing. So the first the first appreciation that I would give is you were saying about your achievements, business turnovers, like something like that. So that was very inspiring, and I felt very proud as a fellow Toastmaster. And the second thing is like you were very genuine in expressing your goals and your purpose. For example, you are saying that why did you have that craze for public speaking? You spoke about the art of gestures, the art of storytelling, and the reason why you had that attraction towards these platforms. So that was all very relatable and genuine, and like I can feel that why are you driven towards all these things? As a budding Toastmaster, I can even relate that. And then my third appreciation is that you gave a message, like there's a general protocol which goes like goal, plan, and execute. But your style of like your perspective is to have a goal, to execute, and then to plan. Yeah, bro, that's nice, and even I would take that. Then you are mentioning a certain statistics in your speech, like people overall 100%, 5% of the achievers all are generally a public speaker, like politicians or any other platform. They have this public speaking skills. So that technically speaks that you have some technical knowledge about all these public speaking platforms. And then you were saying about your why did you have this drive towards public speaking? Like personally, like because of your family condition situation like that. So yeah, nice, bro. Then I have certain recommendations, like suggestions. Like my perspective is the first one is it would have been nice, and like you already, that was like a very good conversation. Like the entire speech was like a good conversation with a knowledgeable person. So my suggestion is that it would have been nice if there is some sequence followed throughout the speech. For example, a start, some certain contents, like the conclusion, like that. So I would have felt better to recall the content of what you spoke. And the second recommendation is, you were saying that you are so fearful in all these process, bro, but I could never notice you being afraid of fear in doing this. But still, since you are saying, I would say, like, even I am fearful. So people advised me this thing, second recommendation, keep practicing. That practice is the never-ending process. My music teacher in my childhood days, she says this, keep practicing and practice some more. Like, that is the thing to overcome fear. And the third thing, you were saying something about Mr. Rajiv Jadeja. I've never heard that name. Even I browsed in Google. So yeah, bro, that's the thing. So overall, for the first time, that's a great icebreaker speech, bro. That was very charming. Like, you were so relatable, and like I really enjoyed that. You were saying about your personal experience and things. So that was nice, bro. My best wishes for your towards your journey of Toastmasters. You learn a lot and you'll achieve, bro. Congrats. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Karthik, for such a crisp evaluation. And I, being your evaluator for this evaluation, let me give you a few nuggets. You are very good in recommendations and then commendations. But then I would like you to have a little bit of structure while evaluating any Toastmasters. So first, it could be like you start with some liner so that people connect with it. Go for 3 recommendations, 3 commendations. But before you go to the recommendation, I would like to go for, give the good feedback. And it's not necessary that for every feedback you give, like it's a positive or negative, you need to, supplement an example. But the part where you're giving your commendations, like, it could have a proper structure, then you could explain him, like you could start like talking a little bit about your family and what led you to a business and how successfully you want to take it. You have a conclusion. So that in that way, you can actually give him a structure example. But what I see is like for every recommendation, every commendation, you are trying to give an example like this and that. So that could be avoided. Otherwise, you had a very good points of recommendation taken up. So as you said to him, practice makes it perfect. So thank you very much for your evaluation. Now I would like to take upon for the third evaluator, who is none other than the person who is adoring a lot of hats today, DTM Gayatri Ravindran, who would be evaluating Toastmaster Nitya.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, dear Toastmasters, and a very special good evening to my target speaker, Toastmaster Nitya. Now, folks, Nitya's path is innovative planning, and the project name is Connect with the Audience, whose objective was to give a speech and connect with an unfamiliar audience. I think she did a wonderful job. Toastmaster Nitya, when you started talking about the curious case from Saturday Morning Musings, I was wondering where this whole speech was leading to. I was thinking, is she going to talk about the lazy day spent in the bed, maybe go out for a movie? Is she going to describe her Saturday? But then you moved on to a newspaper, and I was wondering where it's going to. So you were building up that excitement, that information. I was waiting for the next step, and that was your first strength, Toastmaster Nitya. I loved the way you built up your story, because that's connected with us. We were curious. We were eager to know where it was going. The second thing that you did was, from the newspaper, you took up one particular article called AI Bane or Moon, and voila, you connected immediately with us. Oh, so this is the speech. So you connected with the audience through your Saturday Morning Musings, through your newspaper, and you brought us all to your speech topic on artificial intelligence. The fact that you were able to stand and deliver the speech without having a script speaks volumes of your confidence. Hats off. A special round of applause for that confidence. A lot of the people would like to sit because it's Zoom in front of the camera. They love to sit and speak. Actually, even I should give my evaluation standing up, which I would like to take this opportunity. The fact that you were able to do standing, not fazed by the fact that you had that much amount of gap, but still you were able to get the whole thing together and give your wonderful story and your speech, speaks volumes of the way you had prepared. So kudos to you for that second thing. The third thing was the language. Although there was a lot of peppering of technical details, but it was all very nicely done because you were able to keep us with you. That was the third thing. The grammar, the language was very simple, and you had simplified all of the technical details into something easy for us to understand. Now, where are the areas where you can work upon? There are only two things. The first thing is to have a light in front of you, because the light was at the back. And let me sit and explain. I have a ring light. I would like you to turn your laptop towards the light so that the light faces on your pretty face. We need to see your the expressions because you are very expressive. Your hand gestures were wonderful. And all that would be visible when there is proper light. So that's the first thing. Second thing is appropriate pauses. Pauses make an impact. Overall, an excellent speech, good grammar, good language, nicely built up, so confident. Just work on your lighting and on your pauses, and we have a winner at any level. Over to you, G.
Thank you very much, DTM Gayatri. And with DTM Gayatri evaluating, I don't think I have anything to say. But then still, I have, since Nitya is my mentee, I just want one thing to be her. Apart from the camera that ma'am promptly caught you, the one thing I felt like the level of your eye contact could have been improved if just your laptop was elevated to the height. You had your laptop little bit lower level, so your eye contact was as if you're looking at down. So in that, you generally should have that camera eye in line with your eyes, camera eyes. So in that way, it'll, Zoom, it will look like as if you're looking into the audience and having that icon. So just that one. Thank you, DTM Gayatri. And we have one more evaluator to go ahead. We have Toastmaster Partha, who is going to evaluate our fourth speaker, Toastmaster Sibi. Toastmaster Partha, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, ma'am. TNCB, your speech was just charming. The title of the speech is Laughter is the Medicine, and smile from the starting to ending. I love the way you smile. For the second of, for any time you stop laughing, stop smiling. This is a wonderful, powerful things of your speech. Number two, this is full of informations. How laughter helps in our life, how it helps to relax our life, how different hormones actually works to release our stress, and a lot of full of information filled with your content. It is so enriching for audience. Number three, cool, calm, compose. You stand in front of audience, relax, and giving your speech. You just speaking, just a natural speaker. Wonderful, mesmerizing speech. Number four, your eye contact. I observe very closely, although you are giving speech in a virtual podium, but you are maintaining your eye contact. You look forward, you sideward. I love the way you are doing consciously, the way. When you maintaining your eye contact, it enhances your speech quality. Still, there are few areas you can do better to make you to the next level. Just come, first one is your hand gesture. You give the perfect elaboration, the different points, the significant of benefits, just like relaxing the how it helps us to relaxing our laughter, how to release the stress, how it enhances to our immunity system. You can just use hand gesture like 1, 2, 3. It will enhance your ability to connect with the audience. Audience also able to connect with your hand gesture. Number 2, the importance of pauses. Pause is very, very, very important in a speech. Just for example, you are giving your pause like that, It helps to reduce our stress. Take pause, better than going to the gym. Laughter, just like incorporating the speech. And voice modulation, your tonality, you are almost speak the same tone. Sometimes you need to be so excited, this help to reduce our stress. I only by laughing. You need not to invest anything. Just like that. You have a very good content, you have a wonderful eye contact, you have a cool, calm approach, incorporating the hand gesture, voice modulation, strategic pauses, make you a brilliant speaker. And I know you will do it. Thank you so much for such a wonderful speech.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Partha, for such a wonderful evaluation. So moving forward, I would like to, before giving my evaluation report, I want to take the reports of my tag team. So I would like to call upon timer Toastmaster Satya to give his timer's report.
So all the charming speakers, prepared speaker have qualified with their timing rules. So they are within the allocated time limits. When it comes to evaluator, all evaluators except Toastmaster Karthik are qualified for the best evaluator poll. Toastmaster Karthik is not able to qualify. He has taken time 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So we can, I leave it to the general evaluator and Toastmaster with the evening to take a call on that. So that's the timer report for today evening's role players.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Satya, for your comprehensive report. My only recommendation would be if you could have the timers report in a form where you can, either in an Excel sheet or in a small PPT, such that you can display it. It will be more visual for people to see. And regarding the timing overlaps, yes, it is about the club VP to decide that whether we are going to allow them to go for the voting procedures or not. That is a small recommendation for me. Thank you very much. Now I would like to call upon the R counter, Toastmaster Karthik, to present his report.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, I'll be sharing the photo after the meeting. I didn't enter the things, so I just read it out. Yeah. So, since I think all are giving a prepared delivery this time, the usage of R counter notes like that is very low this time. So, Toastmaster Nitya, she mentioned R once. DTM Gayatri ma'am, I've noticed that for twice. And Toastmaster Vinota, twice I noticed. And Toastmaster Sibi, more than twice. He used the filler word R. And Toastmaster Partha, twice I noticed. Swarnalata ma'am, you mentioned use the filler word R more than thrice. That's it, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Karthik, for your report. Now I would like to call upon the grammarian Toastmaster Ismail to give his grammarian report.
Good evening, everyone. So I will be giving the grammarian report of the meeting. So the good usages are first by TM Gayatri. She said that the general evaluator's role is very crucial, probably the most important. And the second is by TM Nitya, who said that that is the marvel of AI, artificial intelligence. The word marvel was very good. And then TM CB, laughter helps helps us burn calories, but it is not a replacement for going to the gym. So that was a very interesting phrase. And by TM Partha, I actually was not able to notice who all used the word of the day due to my low internet connection. But I noticed TM Partha, he said that your speech was very charming, which was the word of the day. So yeah, that is the grammarian report. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ismail. Now I would like to present my general evaluator report. The meeting, of course, started right on the time, and now seeing at the clock, we know that we have overshooted 10 minutes into our meeting. So this is something that we need to have a check. The Toastmaster of the day and the VPE can have the control of this by, taking care how the meeting overshoots and where, you ongoing meeting, you can adjust this. So that is one my recommendation. And we had the presiding officer's speech where she gave the updates regarding the meeting, and she also took a few guest introduction, which went very well where the guests are felt welcome. My only recommendation for the presiding officer is it is the beginning of the meeting, and that is when all the guests and Toastmasters feel related to you. So if you could present any small nugget of a story, inspiring story, or even a small quote to start your presiding officer speech, that is where people are instantly attracted towards being into a community. So that is the platform, that is a 30 seconds that you get to impress upon others as a leader too. So I would recommend you to incorporate a very small story, something related to Toastmasters or something related to anything that has to do with the life, but just to inspire the audience to be together in the community. So kindly add a small nugget of motivational story will do wonderful for your role as a presiding officer. Then we have the Toastmaster of the day. What a way to start. She said, what is very important today? And the way she chronology brought all the orders, it was literally amazing. The way she introduced the educational session and the way the educational session went, we really had a lot of learning. I myself had very good learning, especially about the parliamentary procedures, which I was not at all aware. I thought it's only during the council meetings, but I didn't know that even when the role is being taken by someone, we have to do this parliamentary procedure. That was really a very good take for me. And the practical way the timers roles was explained. It was not just told to us, you do this way, you do that way, but literally the practical way. Kudos to DTM Gayatri. And that is why they say when you have seasoned Toastmaster, the club always falls in line. But my one small recommendation is, when the role of Toastmaster of the day is done, it is generally preferred to give a brief summary of what is in store for the Toastmasters general meeting. Like we have a prepared speech, we have an impromptu, and then we have an evaluation. So that the guests who are coming or the first time Toastmasters will have a clear knowledge of what is going to happen in this 1.5 hours. So that is my recommendation. And regarding the tag team, for both all the timer, our counter and grammarian, what I would like to suggest is kindly have some form of visual exhibit. Although you are telling orally like this many times, this many minutes, but when it is being shared orally, when it is shared, it actually helps people to get it visually. So it need not be very complex graphics, PPT. No, a simple Excel form would be that's sufficient for you. So that is one thing. The other thing, what I felt is, if the education session was taken in between some session, then it would have more impact, because for people who are coming to first time to the club, they don't know what is going to happen. And when the education session starts, I think they are not even knowing ABCD, and we are like telling them about the sentence. This is just my one suggestion. I felt like maybe after 2 speeches, 1 education session, because they already know someone is named as general evaluator has already appeared, he or she is going to do something. It is just one of my small suggestion. Apart from this, the overall, I would rate the meeting as 8 out of 10, because we have done a lot of meetings and we do have a lot of scope to reach to the 10 on 10. So this is all my report. I would like to hand over the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Swanlata, for such a comprehensive general evaluation. All the points are taken into consideration and definitely will be implemented. And hopefully the next meeting, we will see the results. Without delay, let me hand over the meeting back to Toastmaster Nitya, the presiding officer. Thank you, dear Toastmaster. Thank you for your patience. I felt the whole meeting was quite charming. Grammarian, please note bonus points for me.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Gayatri ma'am. Now I've launched the poll on the chat window. I would request everyone to click on the link and start voting for your favorite speakers, evaluators, and role players. Come on, come on, come on. We have 5 people who have voted so far. I would request everyone to vote. We have 10 responses. We have 3 or 4 more to go. I mean, if we have 2 more, we can close the poll. But yeah, it would be great if everybody could vote. Okay. I think we can close the poll. We have 12 people who voted. So TMOD, can I go ahead with it? Like 12 people are fine, right? That's around 80%. Okay. So the best primary role player, no surprises here, but it's a pretty tight contest, but no surprises. It's the Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Gayatri ma'am, as the best primary role player. The best auxiliary role player is the timer, TM Satyanarayan. The best prepared speaker, I think, it's very clear. It's TM Vinod. Best evaluator, again, a major margin, no surprise here, DTM Gayatri ma'am. Congrats to all the winners. So before going ahead and closing the meeting, I would like to get a couple more guest introductions and feedback. So guest Sendil, would you like to talk about your thoughts? Or what you felt about the meeting, your feedback, anything?
Sure. Actually, I was kind of surprised when this is going to be education session on general evaluation on timer. I'm not a big fan of education session. I will be honest with you. Whenever I attend a club meeting, they say education session. I feel like, oh no, not today. No, I'm not a person for that. But today's education session was something different, something that we all can apply in our regular meetings, right? And it was much practical. The points and suggestions given was really great. And the tip for the timer, that is something that I will definitely apply in my next meeting. And I will also suggest in my club. It was a beautiful tip. And it also cleared a lot of air about the general evaluator's role, what should be done and what should not be done. So it was beautifully done. I really enjoyed that education session and all the prepared speeches. Thank you so much.
Good to know. Thank you, TM Sendil. Yes. And I would also like to listen to visiting Toastmaster, visiting DTM Sriram, sir. We had you in the joint meeting last week as a speaker, so we would love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, Toastmaster Nitya, for the. I think it was a great session we had, and sorry that I joined a bit late. There was a lot more information, but I've really enjoyed each of the role play sessions, starting with DTM Gayatri's role play as a TMOD. She wore multiple hats. What a great way of learning, and I particularly liked her education session that has been eye opener for most of the newcomers, new Toastmasters as well as guests. It was very nicely crafted and packaged and delivered. And I would recommend such kind of sessions happening regularly, so that newcomers can learn a lot from there. And additionally, I would say all the 4 great speeches we had was, speeches were really great, and a lot of information and valuable ideas which I could carry from today. And thanks for this, great evaluation by all the 4 people. And I found that there is a lot of value in each which you gave us a feedback. And on the whole, I found great. Maybe the table topics could have been added as a small session. I know it has been a very hectic day. Maybe if that slot is there, people from newcomers will get more chances to participate. So, over to you.
Thanks, DTM Shreya. Thanks for your very comprehensive suggestions and description of the meeting. So I think this effectively brings us to the end of the meeting. We had an amazing prepared speech marathon today, and I can also say an evaluation marathon, since we had 4 people talking, and an amazing education session. It was a wonderful meeting, and I hope we come up with much more nice meetings going forward. Let's hope for the best. And with the power vested in me as the presiding officer of SpeakMagic Toastmaster Club, I declare meeting 212 of SMTC closed.